Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, RegisKillbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and this is Random Deck Challenge number 3. Now, if you're not familiar with the Random Deck Challenge, essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a completely random Hearthstone deck, and then see how well I can make that deck work on the ladder by only making 3 card substitutions. So, in other words, the idea here is to try to make something good out of probably subpar cards that don't necessarily synergize together to, in some ways, emulate the new player experience for people who are trying to assemble a collection and assemble a good deck but don't have all the pieces they need, and just showcase that even if you do have some random stuff, you can often still make a few key substitutions with the good cards that you do have and still play that deck and still find ways to succeed. As a learning experience. So hopefully we all learn something after this is done. Now, this was inspired in the old days of Hearthstone. If you try to create a deck and you picked a class, we're going to be doing Mage this time around. And if your list was empty and you've said done, it'd say you had an invalid deck, and it would randomly select 30 cards for you. Unfortunately, nowadays when it does this, it builds you actually a pretty reasonably decent deck. It follows some rules and gives you halfway good cards, expecting your deck to work well. In the old days, it would just give you completely random junk, and I think that was a more fun experience and a more rewarding one to work with. So I can't use this tool anymore to create my truly random deck, since this is no longer truly random. So that said, I have to rely on some outside tools to build my random mage deck this time around. So that's what we're going to jump into next. And here we are. So you might be wondering what all these numbers on this screen are. Essentially, I went to random.org. I told it to generate 30 random integers, and it gave me these numbers based on the number set of total cards available to mage in standard format of something like 416 cards, I think. So these are 30 random numbers from 1 to 416, and I have a list here. You can't see it, but there's a list of all those cards with numbers next to them in alphabetical order. So, for instance, Aberrant Berserker is number 1, because alphabetically, I guess that's the first card that is available to Mage to play. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste in some code here to look up and match these numbers with my list, and then we're going to see which cards we actually get. So, for instance, 390 is vaporized near the end of the alphabet, as you might expect. So we got a nice little secret there. And then we can just drag down here and we'll generate all these cards. War Golem, not a great card. the bad Dr. Boom. We've also got King Mukla. Okay, something perhaps to work with. It's an early game minion at the very least. Backstreet Leper, terrible card. Just absolutely awful. That's going to be junk. Inkmaster Solia. That could actually be pretty good. If we get some spells, we're very unlikely to repeat any numbers. In fact, we can probably scan real fast to see, but we're very unlikely to repeat numbers and therefore unlikely to repeat cards or get duplicate instances of a card. So a Reno style deck could definitely be an option, particularly because if we substitute cards in, we'll get to choose Reno and Kazakis, for instance, so we can kind of build our own Reno deck as long as this works. Nerubian Prophet, okay, could be a tempo advantage if we get it in our mulligan or something. Cabal Chemist, solid card to go with Solia in a Reno deck. I like that, okay. Mana Worm, fine. Actually, pretty good early game start as long as we get more spells to work with it, but it at least contests pirates and stuff, which is pretty important in this meta. I don't even know if I have this card. Mayor Noggenfogger, okay. That's going to be fun. A late game chaos card. Hopefully we get to play that one for highlights. Stampeding Kodo, actually a pretty solid card. I'm not sad to see that. In the scheme of things, this feels like a win, because some cards really are bad. Polluted Hoarder, okay, not a great card, but at least it's card draw. Fin Creeper, you know, another just below average card, but at least it's a taunt. All these cards do have something useful. Twilight Guardian is an awesome card, but only if we have dragon synergies, and it's just not likely we'll have any. We don't yet, so that's probably just a 2/6 most of the time. Wow. Yasharaj Rage Unbound. That's crazy. Unfortunately, we have a lot of cards that don't work well with it, cards with like effects and battle cries that we want to utilize, so not awesome and very slow, unfortunately. We may actually end up replacing this. I should also note that You're going to see more legendaries than normal simply because this list only contains one of each available card. So cards that you'd normally run 2 of in a deck are still only represented once. So legendaries are a little bit overrepresented in the total pool of possible cards. Infested Tauren is up next. That's a fine card. Coliseum Manager. That is a bad card. I'm not excited to see that one. Injured Blade Master. Yeah, it's okay. It's a body. Freezing Potion is awful. This card is just terrible. It's so low value. We may have to junk this one if we want to make a Reno deck work. Volcanic Drake, although not exciting on its own, could perhaps enable Twilight Guardian, which is a good change. So I'm not sad to see that. It could also be good with like a board clear, although we really don't have any spells right now. Where are all the spells? Oh, well, there's a spell, Ice Block. That's actually really good again for a Reno deck. So, interesting. Just not a lot to go with it. We do have one other secret. Malagos, but I just don't think we're going to have room for spells, especially damage spells. So, this seems unlikely to be successful. Elise Starseeker's always good just because she gives you sort of a backup plan victory if you know all else fails and you draw into the monkey. Ice Lance, sort of good, but I mean, I guess it's a freezing potion combo, but they're both so low value without the other, and we don't even have a Frostbolt to activate our Ice Lance, so unless we could do some sort of crazy Malagos freezing potion Ice Lance, still only like 9 damage though, so it's not even that good. Gadgetzan Auctioneer, normally a pretty good card, you'd think, but not a lot of spells. Wobbling Runts is awful. I mean, it's not awful. It's just pretty slow and doesn't do a lot. Silverhand Knight, really, really generic, not great. Violet Teacher's good, but again, not a ton of spells in the list so far, so maybe not great. Cthulhu's Chosen is mostly useless because we won't have a Cthulhu, unless by some grace of God. But, you know, it's a body. It can trade. Ooh, Midnight Drake. I think a pretty bad card, but again, something for our Twilight Guardian. And that could be important. So, it's junk on its own, but works with the list. And then finally, Argent Commander. That's alright. We can make an Argent Commander work. That'll be fine. It's just some damage and clear potential. So, that's my list. All told, maybe not terrible, but probably not a lot. We'll just have to see what we can do with some substitutions. And to do that, we're going to head back into the game. Okay, so here is our completed deck based on all those random draws. And it's a pretty crazy looking deck. Here's the curve of the deck, which whenever building a deck or making adjustments to a deck, this is always one of the best places I think you should start. Because you can see, like right now, we have a huge gap in the 2 mana spot. We have 0 2 mana cards. That means we're basically always going to be hero powering on turn 2. Now, for some classes like Warlock, that's usually not a problem, particularly if they're late game oriented. For Paladin, they can develop a minion. For Mage, you don't always have something valuable to ping on turn 2, which is sad. It's unfortunate that we didn't get any 2-drops. The other side of that, though, of course, is that our deck is certainly more late game oriented. So as long as we aren't dead to an aggressive start from our opponent, the fact that we're missing that 2-drop probably isn't that big of a deal, particularly because our ping is actually pretty good against aggressive decks, because we can kill off the Patches or the South Sea Deckhands or whatever of the world. So we might still be able to get value on turn 2. So normally where I might say look for those mana gaps and try to fill them in with cards, in this particular instance, I just don't think we can afford to do that. I think the bigger concern for us, and the second place I recommend you take a look when making adjustments to your deck, is overall card quality, and we have some particularly bad cards like Freezing Potion and I think Ice Lance, as I mentioned previously. Both of these only work with each other. In other words, we have to freeze the enemy's face and hit it with Ice Lance, or freeze a minion, hit it with Ice Lance. And that's a 2-card combo that only does 4 damage. So there's virtually no real upside on this combo, and it's so hard and so unreliable to actually draw into both pieces exactly the moment you need them, when that 4 health minion is on the board. So, you know, you get Freezing Potion, but you don't have Ice Lance. Or you get it the other way around, and Ice Lance is just totally dead in your hand. And so would Freezing Potion be dead in your hand? And I think, speaking more generally, that's kind of a warning and a lesson for people. You shouldn't try to build your decks around some really niche, absurd, small combo. Now, obviously, there are decks built around big combos, game-winning combos, the Malygos type stuff. But that entire deck is foundationally built to get you to that combo, to get you to that point, and to fulfill that combo. So it often includes a lot of survival tools and card draw options to help you get there. But I sometimes see people make the mistake of sticking like one or two cards that do something really cool together, some sort of gimmick. I think historically, you know, Inner Fire, Divine Spirit Inner Fire has been one of those combos. There have been successful decks that utilize that as their finisher, but sometimes people will just stick it in because they think, oh, I'm going to get some big crazy turn out of this. I'm going to get a lot of value out of this 2-card combo. But what happens is they draw one and not the other. It's never consistent. It's never there when you need it. So basically, it just hurts your deck overall instead of actually fulfilling some crazy outcome, some big dream that you hoped the combo would do. So don't worry so much about these little weird gimmicks. Instead, focus on consistent, reliable results from your deck. So that said, I think it's pretty clear we have to drop both of those. Moving from there, I know I mentioned that Yashiraj was a card that is very suspect in this list for me simply because he's very expensive. Even if we play him, I don't think we're likely to get great results just because we don't have a lot of stuff that would be really good to draw out of our hand. And in fact, we could have disastrous results like drawing our Kazakis or Reno if we add those in. So I think I'm going to get rid of Yashiraj Rage Unbound. Even a card like Malygos, yes, it's very, very slow, and we don't really have any spells to take advantage of it. We just tossed out the 1 Ice Lance, but even that would have only been 9 damage, so that's not very valuable. But it is a dragon, and we do have some dragon synergies to be concerned with. Plus, it's actually a minion that's a little bit harder to remove in some instances than Yashiraj, because it avoids stuff like Shadow Word Death. And it's a minion that scares our opponents and causes a lot of friction too, and it's slightly cheaper. So even though it's also a minion I'd consider getting rid of, I think Yashiraj is actually slightly worse for us. It's debatable though. And some people out there, if you're not, you know, used to building decks, or if you have a smaller collection, you might be thinking, how can you get rid of like Malygos instead of War Golem? Why would you ever do such a thing? War Golem's a terrible card, and Malygos is an awesome card, and Yashiraj is a card that does something really insane. And that's certainly true. War Golem is a very, very bad card. But War Golem is a 7-drop, and 7-drops are considerably more playable than 10-drops, because you can play 7-drop and a 3-drop. You know, we could Vaporize in War Golem. We can ping with our hero power and War Golem. Yashiraj, you can't do that stuff. Malygos, you can't do that stuff. These are all in plays, and often, if you just throw a minion out there that doesn't force action through it, that doesn't force your opponent to deal with it, like a big taunt, for instance, they can just kind of ignore it and kill your face, and you're less active on the board, and it's less of a actually significant tempo play. So there's a trap I think a lot of players have when assembling a deck. They'll take the one really good legendary they have, some really awesome legendary they got, Nefarian or whatever it is, some just crazy thing, sometimes Ragnaros, you know, whatever. And they'll say, I gotta fit this in my deck because it's like the best card I have. And sometimes that works if your deck is well suited to hold that legendary. You can make that card one of your powerhouses. But oftentimes I'll see people take a card that doesn't fit their list at all. It's off the curve, it's too slow for their deck, it compromises a slot that'd be better used for something else, whatever the case may be, just because it's their legendary. And I think that's a really unfortunate trap that often makes people's deck worse than it should be simply because it's the one big shiny orange they have. So don't fall into that trap. So, I mean, we have a lot of 4-drops, a lot of 6-drops. It's arguable that we should drop War Golem instead of Yashiraj. I mean, if we kept Yashiraj, though, I think I'm pretty sure I'm going for Kazakis Reno, and I just can't risk losing those really powerful battle cries. Kazakis in particular is one way for this deck to get back on the board and do something significant. So I'm going to drop Yashiraj as my 3rd card. And now what we have to do is add in the 3 cards we want back, starting with Kazakis. This one's perfect, of course, because our deck is a Reno-style deck. We don't have any duplicates. Kazakis is very powerful on his own, even if you don't have Reno itself. Kazakis can do a lot of work. His potions are incredibly good. Even if you do poorly on the actual choices for the potion, it's still usually significant in some way or another. And it might seem like I'm kind of cheesing the challenge a little bit by building a Reno deck. I understand that sentiment a little bit, but that's going to be less of a concern in the future because, of course, Reno himself is rotating out of standard format very soon, and this is a standard format random deck. And Kazakis is only going to be available to a few classes, right? So we're going to do other classes as the challenge goes on. So it's not like we're going to be building a Kazakis / Reno deck every single time. So I do want to utilize this, and there's really no shame in playing your best card. Like, this is a good card. It's one of your best cards that fits the deck. Don't be afraid of that. I know I just sort of sold the cautionary tale in the other direction, but if you have a card that fits and it works, don't be ashamed to run it. It's totally fine. It's going to be good for you. So we also need to get the Reno here. Just drop that mana, and we need one last card. So, I mean, how do we determine what that last card is? What's the final piece of the puzzle here? We could try to go for some early game, get another 1 or 2 drop just to contest aggressive decks. I like that at an instinctual level, but I think that's wrong simply because we're not going to have that early game anyway. It's just so inconsistent that it's not going to matter if we add 1 more 2-mana spell or something. It's just not going to make a difference. Even if we get the perfect mana worm into our 2-mana spell, that's not enough to win the game. So we're going to lose to aggro decks probably regardless. So we might as well focus on our strong suit, which is late game. Like, we want to win control style matchups. And that's another important facet of building a deck. You got to recognize what you're strong against and play against that. If you're going to lose something 80% of the time anyway, if you take a couple card slots and try to tech against that matchup to take it from an 80% loss to a 65% loss, it's still a really bad losing matchup. And often you're also sacrificing 15% advantage in your good matchups or something. So it's kind of an iffy thing. I think it's better to go all in on your strong suit instead of teching your deck sideways left and right, trying to answer all these different meta things unnecessarily, unless it's so consistent and so pervasive that it's the only way to make your deck work. So in that regard, I think the one thing we're lacking in our deck is actually AoE removal. Mage is obviously very strong at AoE in general. So there's things like Volcanic Potion is a cheap AoE removal option, but we do have a lot of stuff to do on 3 and 4. This also is the weakest of all the AoEs available to Mage, and it also hurts our own stuff, which is a downside. So, I mean, really, Blizzard and Flame Strike sound like the 2 best AoE choices here for board clears, and I'm actually torn between the 2. We do have a lot of 4-drops, so Blizzard actually gets a little bit of a boost there, simply because you can Blizzard and play something alongside it. We also have some 3-drops too, though, so you could Flame Strike and play something too if the cards shook out the right way. Slightly less likely to do stuff alongside Blizzard, Flame Strike. The other advantage of Blizzard, though, is that it's also it's not only a board clear, but it's a tempo gain. So even if they had a bunch of Jades out there, and we had our own little meager board, we might be able to just freeze out the Jades and go face and kill our opponent. So I think this gives us an additional kind of unique advantage to Flame Strike. It may not kill as much stuff. Sometimes we might regret this choice. But I think I'm going to go for it just because the potential upside is higher. And when you're building and playing with a bad deck, sometimes you just have to go to your outs and hope for the best and try to make the really greedy, selfish plays because that's the only way you can win. So that looks like a 30-card list. That looks like random deck number 3. This is our Mage list. So what are we going to call this bad boy? What is this deck going to be named? I think it's pretty clear to me it has to be the Noggenfogger Mage. It's a random deck in both its building process, but also in its execution, thanks to Mayor Noggenfogger. So Noggenfogger is about as relevant and solid a name as I can think of. So now it's time to take this thing out onto the ranked ladder and actually see it in action. And the way this works is I'm going to try to win at least 1 game out of 3. And what's going to happen is the first 2 games I'll play on the ranked ladder, and then the 3rd game, if I haven't won yet, I'll play on casual. And as soon as we win a game, we're done. If we win game 1, we're out. It's over. The deck is a success. If we lose all 3, we'll have to consider the deck a failure. You'll also note that I am actually, I hit Legend this month, which I don't often do, but I felt like grinding it out for once. So we're going to be playing these in the top 1,000 players in North America against the top 1,000 players in North America. So we're going to take our junky, janky, terrible Reno Mage, which isn't even necessarily very good in the meta right now, even if it's optimized. We're going to play against the best decks and the best players in the world. Here's a top 400 Legend player who is going to be astounded when he sees our cards. One good thing about this, at least, is that thankfully losing ranks in Legend is not a big deal to me. We can always grind them back later if we want to have a high finish on the season. If not, I'm happy to dumpster my ranks for fun and for enjoyment. So as terrible as Backstreet Leper and Polluted Hoarder are as cards, I'm just going to keep them. This is Mortal Coil fodder. This is maybe a little better, but I'm not expecting him to get off to a fast start, so I don't think I'm going to need like the taunt or the trade value. That might be better later on. Could be Zoo. I'm just assuming it's Reno Lock. That's slightly more common, but Discard Zoo is certainly popping up here and there. This is actually a nice little combo here. We're going to be able to buff our Mana Worm with a coin into a Backstreet Leper, so he's going to think, after seeing that, by the way, that we are like some sort of weird face rush deck. He's going to be very wrong in that regard. So this is not going to feel good because he's going to be able to kill my Mana Worm pretty easily here. But if I just leave it out there to die, I could ping and trade and save the coin. Alternatively, we could just go ahead and get the Backstreet Leper out. The problem, of course, is that leaves me hanging on turn 3. I would just have to ping again. So there's an argument to be made to just trade, ping, sit on our turn, and coin out a 4-drop next turn, or maybe just play the Backstreet and save our coin. It's hard to say what's right and what's wrong here, simply because none of this is by the book, right? We're playing a deck that makes no sense, that doesn't have a plan. So since we're a late game deck, I'm just going to go ahead and take that route and perhaps get a Kazakus out sooner. Get a, like Cabal Chemist, I think is a pretty good card to get out here. But I actually think we'll do the Polluted Hoarder. This is just too good for Mortal Coil. We could try to force the Mortal Coil, though, when it's turn 4. Turn 4 is a significant turn for Reno Lock, of course, because they want to play Twilight Drakes and Mountain Giants. So if he wants to Mortal Coil, he can't do it against this. This doesn't trade very well into the big guys, but neither does Polluted Hoarder, so that's not a significant thing. And this also saves the coin, so let's go ahead and get this out. He's going to be very confused because we made a value trade instead of going face. Now we're going face with a really aggressive card. He has no idea what's going on, and rightfully so. He's hovering over our card saying, what on earth is happening? We got the major memes here. Alright, so this actually would have been better against the Refreshment Vendor because we could have pinged. It's sad that he's not life tapping more because King Mukla actually becomes a pretty viable strategy where we burn cards from him, which, you know, often Warlocks will have full hands. I think he thinks we're aggressive still, so he's like trying to get out on the board and contest us and stuff, but that's sadly not the case. That's actually a great card. There might come an instance where we need some unavoidable damage to kill him. This is a board clear. There's a lot of advantages here. Help finish off a Blizzard. Like if we, stall his board but don't kill it, this could be a great way to kill more stuff. Man, he is teched very anti-aggro. Very, very anti-aggro tech. This would actually be a good Blizzard clear, but just not enough value there, I don't think. We could, next turn, coin Inkmaster into Blizzard. Could also use the coin for Gadget Zam, but we're not going to get much out of that. Here, I think I just have to kind of play this out to die to the Dark Peddler. Mukla puts him at 9. It doesn't actually punish him any, so I don't like doing that. Coining out the Drake doesn't feel right. None of these plays are good. Polluted Hoarder is obviously terrible, too. But this one at least generates additional resources and doesn't lose a really good card for free, basically. That Thorison's a problem. He's going to get... If I don't kill it now, he's obviously going to get multiple ticks out of it, which is bad. But the real question is can I afford to kill it? Like, can I use the Felfire Potion and still win the game, or do I just have to let him get multiple ticks? I think the answer is I have to let him get multiple ticks. So I could Blizzard, but it just feels like a really bad board. I just kill 2 minions. It's not enough value. Felfire kills 3 minions, but it wastes a really good resource. I don't like it, but we could Solia Blizzard, but this lives and ticks anyway, so there's no advantage there. We could just play like the Midnight Drake, but it dies to this stuff. He's still at 7 cards, so Mookala's not good. We just don't have a great play here. Gadget Sand Coin doesn't actually do anything significant. Argent Commander into the Refreshment Vendor feels like the best play, even though, again, it's so bad. I wish we could ping and just kill this, but we don't have the mana for that. So, we'll just make another terrible play. Thankfully, this doesn't trade in without a Mortal Coil. Maybe he has the Mortal Coil. He hasn't used it yet, right? That's a problem, but it's actually a good Blizzard target. Yeah, this will be a fine Blizzard board. Because we can Blizzard, and we'll develop the Solia. Could also just Felfire. This lives with 3 health. He's gonna, if I just Blizzard, he's gonna get another proc off of. Initially it looked good, but he healed the Thorison. So by Blizzard, he's gonna get another proc off of Thorison. It's only 6 cards though. It's like, I don't know. We have so many cards in hand. I don't actually know that it's a problem. And then next turn we might be able to Felfire into Volcanic Drake, which would be a pretty good turn. We could actually probably... No, we couldn't Felfire into Volcanic Drake now. We'd be 1 mana short. So let's just freeze this board out. I'm actually going to coin ping this, too. Could coin ping this, though. If we don't know for sure we're going to Felfire, it'd be better. I think I almost have to Felfire next turn, though. He might think I'm setting up for Flame Strike, though. Kind of signals Flame Strike, but I can't ping next turn, so actually it doesn't signal Flame Strike. I'd have to have 9 mana for a significant Flame Strike. That's fine. Add more stuff, dude. Content with that. He's still trying to figure out what my deck is, and it's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's enough to play the Drake. You can clear the board. This goes down to 2. We have tempo. Everything is so cost reduced, including his Kazakus Potion, which is a little scary. That's going to be playable soon. That's cool. This is a pretty good board swing. He's actually down to 16. We don't have a way to kill him, unfortunately. I don't even know if we have a good Solia anymore now. Because we just don't have... Oh, actually, we'll get Kazakus. So she's great with Kazakus, so that'll be fine. Oh, that's a pretty weak Kazakus Potion in the scheme of things. Oh, God, he's getting more cost reduction. Shadow Bolt, it looks like, coming in here. 0 cost. Shadow Bolt's always my favorite. Mookala here can burn a card, though. Maybe we can kill his Jiraxis or something. I don't know. This is a problem. We can't actually kill this. Yeah, let's just Mookala Kazakus. We'll go for 10 here and have to get a big Solia Kazakus play. We can't go for the smaller sort of 5 mana tempo Kazakus stuff because we're gonna need something significant to outpunch this this Reno lock. I guess a board clear is good because we know that he has a board now. We might be dead, by the way. He has 11 damage, so there's a lot of ways we could be dead. Gosh. It has to be Shadow Oil since we took the damage. Like, there's nothing else reasonable there. Ping face. We could have maybe tried to set up some trades or something, but I think we're probably dead. Just because he has so much damage on board and so many cards in hand. Like, he has to have combo if he's running it. That's fine. 6 is still our magic number. He might just be trading, though. We'll have to wait and see. We could have gone for like 8 damage to face and tried to sneak out a win. That would have been another viable option, I think. This is bad with Solia is the problem because we got the 6 mana thing. Or 6 damage thing. Yeah, this is still a good clear. It's not going to give us board, but it's going to give us life. We're going to live now. Noggenfogger might be our saving grace in next turn. I wish we'd gotten summon 3 friendly minions that died. That would have been the best route here. This makes us bad against Jiraxis, because this is really good against killing the hero power summons, the Infernals. But ultimately, I think we have to go this route, and otherwise we're going to be dead real soon. And I don't think he wants to Jiraxis if he just Reno'd, right? Like, he's going to be nervous about that. Wow, Enforcers are good. The Dreadsteed's probably junk. But this is something to work with. We have 9 cards in hand, so we won't lose Reno here if we draw him, which is not likely, but... So I don't know what he's going to do here. We're dead to combo. If he's gotten those pieces, he's drawn so many cards. I would actually be okay with Jiraxis, probably. We can play a Dreadsteed into that. Right? Oh, we can play Wobbling Runt's Dreadsteed. The Wobbling Runts, unfortunately, will just die to some sort of AoE, like Hellfire or Demon Wrath, after the Doomsayer kills them. But that's actually okay. If he's spending mana, clearing my board, then that's buying me time. Right? It's a turn he's not Jiraxising, it's a turn he's not comboing me. So, I don't know. I mean, he's going to have it. He's so deep into his deck. He's got to have one or the other. But, looks like it. No, that's not going to kill me. It's funny that this lives, even though it wouldn't have mattered if it hadn't or had. It's just funny that it does. Oh my gosh. Top deck of the century right here. Actually, let's play the Midnight Drake first, because we have a lot of cards in hand. And then we'll play the Kodo. So he needs to kill this. Like, this is going to hit him really hard. And he's got fatigue to worry about soon, too. We lost our Dragon Activator, but we have more in the deck. I think we have Malagos, for instance, and we played Volcanic Drake, so probably just Malagos, but that's okay. We may not need the taunt anyway. This gets worse and worse as I have a board, right? But these are unavoidable damage too. So if we pop him for 13 this turn, and this stuff lives, like, we might be able to nab a lethal, because that's 4 damage combo. Abyssal Enforcer into Ping. I gotta say, I'm very impressed with how close. Oh, he Enforcer. That's pretty good. He killed his own brand though. I mean, I don't know how much I like that. Yeah, so the problem now is I'm pretty much dead, right? I think I have to Noggenfogger and pray, because we can't kill this. We can do a max of 4 damage, 5 damage to it with the Enforcer Ping Dreadsteed. This doesn't help me any, because I don't have a spell. This is not a taunt, like we said. It doesn't help me any. Would have been pretty risky anyway, so I think we just have to, we have to say a little prayer to RNGesus and try to win the game. There's no risk really in me attacking because it's going to resummon anyway. The only risk was hitting my own face, but I guess that would have killed me with Soulfire. I don't know. So we need this to hit him, I guess, right? Like, okay. That's one way to deal with that guy. Oh, we're just dead to Soulfire, yeah. So that was lucky that it didn't hit our face. Mortal Coil. Good Mortal Coil and a Steed. Man, if we drawn Reno. Oh, man, if we drawn Reno, I feel like we actually might have been in that game. Like, right? Because the only thing that was killing us at that moment was the health. I mean, he still had Jiraxis, probably. But, I don't know, we had enough tools in hand to play some cards. Man. That makes me sad. We were pretty close there. Like, we had stabilized the board a couple times. Gotten some minions out. Reno Lock just has so many tools, though. Like, we're not supposed to win that matchup with our terrible random deck, but hey, that was against what was he, 400 or something? I already forgot, but maybe just 800, I don't know. But top 1,000 regardless, right? We're top 1,000 legend, and we made a game of that. Like, we took him to 25 cards. Like, he only had like 5 cards left in his deck, so... this is going to be hell on earth, just for the record. We're going to lose very quickly. We just don't have the tools we need. Oh, this is bad. This actually is okay, because it's going to cost reduced pretty quickly. But, man, we just don't have the tools we need to survive against pirates. Not even close. That helps too. This can come out on 3, I think, right? It's going to be 4 on 2 and 3 on 3, yeah. And then this on 4. If we get like board clear armor out of this. Huh, and he didn't make a play. Wow, okay. So far, so okay. It's going about as well as it could possibly go for our deck, I think. We're still going to lose, don't get me wrong. We're still going to lose, but I hope to God he's control. He's not attacking with that. He's probably going to... He's got the coin, right? So he's going to coin South Sea Deckhand into Cultist, I think. Seems likely. That's a good card, too. There's a shot here. If we could like get a Kazakus Clear into a Volcanic Drake and then Fin Creeper, I don't know. There's a chance. Coin South Sea. Oh, just Naga Corsair. Wow, that's clutch. That's really good. I mean, it cost him a weapon. He didn't get to increase the durability, but that's just a big minion for me to deal with. Oh, I wish we could ping Vaporize. That would actually be a sick play. But we can't wait. We have to go for this. We need deal 4 to all. We gotta take the armor. We'll have to take 5 just to kill the Corsair. It sucks. We need to deal 4 to all minions, but that's the next best option, maybe. Summon 2 minions that died would not have helped a ton, right? It would have been Kazakus in the 4/4. They're both good minions, don't get me wrong. They're fine, but you can't just keep trading into Pirate. They have weapons to go... Oh! Whoa, that's not a card you see every day in Pirate Warrior. We might be dealing with like a mid-range warrior here. I don't know. That's good news, though, I think. That might have changed my potion choice if I'd known that. So it looks like, yeah, dragon with some mid-range piratey stuff happening. Is this a little bit better than this? I don't think so. I don't think it is right now. I think just taking this off the board is too valuable. Ice Block is good to see if he is super aggressive. I'm afraid if he's Dragon, though, that we're going to not be able to go toe-to-toe with his stuff. You know, the first Crusher that comes down is going to crush us, basically, because we don't have Polymorph, we don't have Flame Lance, anything like that to deal with it, so it's going to be tough. Maybe we could freeze it out with Blizzard. I'd like to see Reno soon, too, to complement this Ice Block, who knows. Yeah, the Fin Creeper's not bad here. You can kill it with a weapon charge and 1 minion. Leaves him with a 1 minion out. I can't do a lot else beside it, though. The Wobbling Runts is intriguing. It's a little slower, but it perhaps trades into some stuff. Yeah, we have Ice Block to buy time. Let's just do it. We can Fin Creeper paying on a future turn, which, you know, right now we're going to float a mana if we play this, so... For the sake of mana efficiency, I'm going to throw the Runts out there. Face for 9 is very scary, because he could play a Crusher too. Yeah. That's what we were worried about, folks. Huh. I almost would love risking it and not playing the Ice Block here, because we could set up a Vaporize to kill this essentially. Right, we could trade into the 3/3, trade here. He has 12 damage. He has to have 1 damage in hand. There's a lot of things that do it. The Blackwing Corruptor, any sort of weapon buff, another Alexstrasza's. Like, it's just not... We just can't do it. We can't risk it. So I guess I have to Ice Block this turn or Taunt. We can maybe Taunt. I wish we could Taunt Vaporize, too, because he'd use the weapon in the 3/3 to break the Taunt. He'd Vaporize the 9/9. But we just don't have the mana for that either. I think I have to try to Taunt through this. It's very risky. We still have a chance of being dead. Kor'kron Elite kills me. So much stuff kills me if I don't Ice Block. But if I do Ice Block, it's like, what difference is it going to make? I don't have Reno anyway. It's just, I mean, I might draw Reno, but this 1 in 20 chance. It's a 5% chance. Like, I'm going to go for the play that's less safe, but I'm playing more towards my outs. I'm giving myself a slightly better chance to recover. Buying myself perhaps an extra turn if this works. If it fails, we're going to lose immediately. But we'll lose immediately with like a 10% chance to win the game, as opposed to, yeah, we would have been dead. See, so playing the one route where we just play the commander. This is at least alive. So I did buy myself a turn actually somehow. I still can't commander ice block. I mean, commander ice block and kill everything though is the problem. So we have to ice block for sure, or we're just literally dead. We can ping trade. That leaves me with 3 mana. So I could choose to vaporize now, but that only works if he attacks me with the 9/8. See, I wish I had the mana to Argent Commander. I think I have to save the vaporize. And I think, in fact, maybe I just play the Cabal Chemist here to find Blast Crystal Potion, something, right? Like, I'm going to trade here to get some 2/2s out there to give me a little bit of a board presence and this 3/3. Probably be able to clean it up next turn. Pinging now to kill this doesn't actually do anything meaningful. That's sort of okay. Question is, do I actually want to trade in, like, here or here? I guess I actually want to trade in here. I don't really know the right answer to that question. The math is too hard to predict because we don't really know what he's doing yet. This is only good if I get Reno, right? Like, it'd be great to clear the board, but I also will be Sudokuing if I do that, as they say. Man, if he attacks first with that, we should have vaporized. Like, that would be just a huge misplay on his front. If we can get him down to 1 minion, if he doesn't have a weapon in hand, there's a chance the vaporize is like a second ice block, right? Oh, he's going to get damage off this, though. That's problematic. Do like Paladin, dude. Paladin hero power. Paladin. Paladin. Oh, yeah, that's bad. That means I have to heal this turn. Or taunt. No, I don't have any. So I need Blizzard doesn't even help. I need Reno. I think Reno's my only out. That's not a Reno, boys. Can't kill him. His weapon kills me. Can't clear the board. So I think we commit the honorable... I guess we could fake it with Vaporize, make him think we have Ice Block, but there's no way he doesn't pop it, so that's just silly. Let's just suicide it. The fancy concede, as they call it. Man. If not for the Crusher, I think we were close to turning that game around. I think we played it correctly as much as our deck allows, right? I think we made the right lines. But couldn't find success. So that's our 2 losses in ranked. So now what we do, of course, is we take this bad boy into casual to see if we can't eke out the final win. I don't want this deck to be a failure. We have Kazakus, we have Reno. That should be enough to win a game. Sometimes those power cards just win a game. Hopefully we don't draw into some crazy person playing Pirate Warrior in casual. Paladin is good, I think. That's a good sign. Paladin is certainly not the most optimized class right now. These cards all suck, but Nerubian's a great mulligan card to receive. I almost wonder sometimes if this card's not, like, sort of viable in actual constructed play. Elise is good, too. This is not a bad hand. Even Mukla might work fine, just to get me out on the board. We could, like, coin Mukla into Nerubian Prophet. That'd be pretty solid. It'd be a big board. And then maybe he just doesn't have the answers, doesn't have the True Silver or something that's enough to pull me into the game. Yeah, let's do it. He's only going to be able to make this a 3/3 with the Nanners. So that in and of itself doesn't trade, and we dodge the True Silver for at least a turn. Depending on what he does, Elise might be better than Prophet, because this still gives more advantages the longer it's in hand. In fact, Midnight Drake might even be good, too, so... What exactly is happening in this card? He's like kind of crazy Drake with like fire. I don't know what that artwork is. He's got a fire tongue, but also some sort of fire tail. I don't know. Is that a tail? You guys tell me. You know, Hero Power Nana is probably our best possible outcome here. That's really slow. I don't mind that at all, because that means he can't True Silver my Prophet. Like, that's actually good for me. Very, very slow. So we'll just play... Oh, I probably should have played the Drake. I don't know what I got settled on. Oh, we couldn't yet. Oh, that's why. This is 3, this is 4. I can't count, guys. This will be good next turn, though. Alright, that's fine, too. It's going to be scary soon, but... Peacekeeper's actually a great answer. Shoot, it's a 5/5, too. Ugh. That's a nasty card. Reno's a good thing to see. We'll go ahead and Drake. And we'll trade this way, of course. You can go face. We're not going to make that trade. He wants to trade here. He probably will take this 4/4. We can maybe clean up with a ping, but it's awkward mana cost. We can play Vaporize alongside, but that may not do much. We have 7 damage, though, if he does make that play, depending on his play, of course, but... He's going to have some buffed up dudes between this sword and his hand buffs. Like, man, it's going to get scary fast. God, even that is a 3/3. Jeez. 2 mana 3/3 with that effect is a... Oh my god. What? These cards have so much. Now, they've +3/+3. I think only maybe this one maybe has +3/+3. Holy... Oh my god. I think I have to kill this, right? Like, that's just too good. Jeez Louise, man. Oh, god. I think I play the Backstreet. Ping. Go face with the 1/4. Can I afford to leave this alive and sort of make a value trade? Yeah, maybe I can. Maybe I can. He'd have to use the weapon to kill this off. I guess he'd take 6 damage, but then I wouldn't have an answer to the 5/6. Vaporize could be eventually, though. I'm going to do it. Like I said before, you got to play to your out sometimes. You got to do the crazy stuff, hoping that it sticks. The other advantage to this play is that I do have 2 1-health guys, so he can't weapon both of them. It's a little bad to, like, Consecration, because he can, like, trade Consecrate. But is he running Consecration? I don't know. He does have 2 spells in hand. Maybe that should have been a consideration. Because we know these aren't hand buffed, so we know these are both spells. I think one's probably a Divine Favor. He's using his face. Okay, so that worked out sort of as planned. This will at least threaten the 3/3. We can play Vaporize maybe. Is he going to buff this one? Buff this one. No, he buffed it correctly. That's a bad card to get, though. The worst, actually. He played the buff correctly. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? Like, you want to split your resources when you're buffing cards. If he'd gone all in on this, we could have just vaporized it down and probably just won the game. This is halfway useless. Doesn't do any more than Elise ping. It's the same body, see? But we get to ping, and this could be better later. So we'll just play the Elise down, and probably doesn't matter here which one we ping, but just in case there's some sort of return to hand effect, you know. So he'll be able to trade this way, but we can clean up with the ping. We take damage. He has no health left. I mean, I wish we had some damage in this deck, but we don't. Oh, one of those was Nanners. Are both still Nanners? He Nannered once, maybe? I'm not sure. Because we definitely need you to have more hand buffs, bro. That's what we need. Oh my god! What? Holy crap. Okay. We'll ping this guy, obviously. He's too threatening and easy to kill. The Silverhand Knight, he gets some pretty good trades, the 5/7 into it to draw and the 2/4. We really want this to hit the 2/4, of course, right? We're going to need Kazakis soon, and then have a big Kazakis Solia turn. Never lucky, man. Never, ever am I ever lucky. Are we dead? He's emoting like we're dead, but that was probably just a reaction to the missed Stampeding Kodo. Yeah, I need, like, Kazakis right now. And I need to get, like, a clutch, deal 4 damage to all minions, And I need to be able to Solia it out, even though she would go down to 1 health. It'd still be worth it. That is not, unfortunately, what I needed. I think it does buy me a turn, though. He has 10, 14, 16, 17. This puts us effectively at 21 health. We're going to ping off a dude. Or actually just play a Vaporize, I think. We're going to risk the Vaporize. There's a chance he procs the Vaporize with a 1-1. Any other target would be fine. We'd hope to hit the Acolyte of Pain, most of all, of course. But again, this is another one of those situations where I can't play the slow and safe route with a ping. I have to try to hit a big win, kill something valuable. And he'll hit face quite a bit, so we'll be able to Reno. Oh, he's going to make the clean trade here. He'll probably use the 1-1 if he's smart. He might just go left to right, though, and hit with a 5-4. He's going to assume it's Ice Block, I mean.
What? They fell off the truck.
I think it's a bad sign that he broke his attack. Oh, no, nice. We did hit a win. Thanks. That's good news. But still, I mean, Solia Blizzard isn't out. I guess Kazakus into a 5-mana potion isn't out. Ugh, hardly, though, because this is so dangerous now. 5 health is not the magic number. It's 4 health. Here it is, boys. This is the ultimate answer. Nothing else. We could Reno, but right, he's got 11, 13, 17, 18, 20 damage. We're right back where we started with Reno. It doesn't help me at all. There's a chance we die. So let's just go ahead and once again, let's put our faith in the Mayor. He's going to save the day. Mayor Noggenfogger it is. Wow. Why is that happening? Oh, his emotes. He makes the emotes wrong. I forgot about that. That actually, I picked the right one. I said whoops. Alright. Let the chaos begin. No, my luck, he'll just use a weapon to kill it. Or double consecration. My god. No, that was created by Ivory Knight. He won't double consecrate. There's no way. Wipe out your own board, bro. What? What? Oh. No. No. Ugh. Man. Alright, so that wraps it up. The Noggenfogger aspect of our deck failed us miserably. Miserably. Completely failed us. And unfortunately that means the Noggenfogger Mage, the random deck number 3, has been deemed a big fat stinking failure. Oh well, we tried our very best. I thought we had a shot a couple times. Really, the games weren't that bad. We tanked some legend points, which is always fun. So all that said, pretty interesting and fun little experiment. Hopefully you learned something along the way. I'm sure I learned something along the way too. It's that Mayor Noggenfogger is not RNGesus. He is Mayor Noggenfogger. He does not abide with RegisKillbin, unfortunately. So that's going to do it for me in this random deck. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions for me, reactions to this video, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to hear everything you guys have to say. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game on.